What's good, my man?
Distracted. What's so much driving today? Oh, smokes.
Pretty sure it was the top of the past 2 hours, I think, or an hour on my watch.
I left at 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I had to meet with somebody down in.
What's good, man?
Not much, man. How you doing? Had to meet with a mobile home park down in Punta Gorda. Lost a couple of mobile homes in a hurricane.
Oh,
They're trying to replace them with containers, so we had to go meet with the owners of the park and then go down to the city and had to listen to city officials try and tell me that mobile homes are more stable than a shipping container. I'm like, the stupidity of people sometimes is like.
You ever seen a mobile home? That's why you don't have them right now.
Well, and I feel bad for these people because they're like, insurance is willing to pay for the replacement and put containers in because they feel they're not going to have to replace them again if there's another storm, which they're right.
Yeah.
And the city's just being a bunch of jerks down there. And it's like, what the heck? I'm like, you want people to die in those things? I'm like, just south of where I was at, they lost in one park, 240 units they lost in one park. Mass storm. They were pulling them out of the river. That's how bad it was. I was like, so, who knows?
Rough.
Yeah, it's craziness, but we'll see what happens with them. I don't,
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like I said, I just don't understand, like, the thought process in the administration thinking that, a flimsy little mobile home is more stable than a container is. And it's like, the guy's like trying to argue with me about wind ratings and all this other stuff. And these people are smart. They actually brought a wind specialist to the meeting. And he's like, the guy's trying to say, oh, well, those container roofs can tear off. And the guy's like, you're on a ship crossing the ocean with 300 to 400 of them. He's like, those are continuously well. He's like, there's no way that roof can tear off of them. Right. He's like, it's not going to happen. So, who knows? There you go. Sorry about that. Like I said, I was out. I got some kind of bug last week or what. I don't know what it was, but I was in bed for 4 days. I didn't eat, drink, or nothing for like 4 days. It was craziness. So
Wait, yeah. So what is? Because
it's check in there, and P&Ls for the end of last year and first quarter of this year. So gives you all the numbers and the breakdowns of everything. So that way you guys can review it. If you have questions, just shoot me over an email or something. What questions you got?
Oops. All right.
You want to come inside real quick? I need to check something in there anyway. Get the bills going on. I want to see how far the guys got.
So you said that they weren't gonna let you do anything outside, so you got enough. You were trying to get another spot, right?
Yeah, we're looking for a piece of land or something somewhere. We talked to a guy Friday down on 54th Street. He made it sound like it was this great thing, and literally all it is a piece of land. It's got no shop, no water, no nothing. It's literally just a vacant piece of land.
Oh, you gotta start over.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll lease it to you for like $3,000 a month. I'm like, no. For what? 18,000 square feet with a fence around it. I'm like, come on. Yeah, so somebody bought this building, bought this property, the one across the street, bought all the properties from this owner. And they said everything was fine, everything was fine. And then back in like September, they hired a new property management company. And they sent us all notices saying we weren't allowed to do anything. Like I came here one day and they actually had a tow truck here and trying to load up one of my containers. And they were going to tow the container.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, you knew this is what our business was.
Yeah.
We signed a lease with you knowing this is what our business was. And our lease says, like we used to park out here on the side of the building. Like we're not even allowed to park on the side of the building anymore. I'm like, but it's in my lease. And he's like, it's a commercial lease. We can change it without notice.
That's crazy.
I was like, are you kidding me?
So you lost 25,000?
Yeah. We had a lot of refunds. We had 6 projects cancel on us in December and January. And then we had some joker. She bought a container, had to put it in her yard, never pulled a permit for it. So the city made her move it out, and she filed a chargeback with her credit card company. And the credit card company reached into our bank account and took the entire charge out of our bank account.
Really?
Wow.
So
now I'm in the middle of getting ready to file a lawsuit against her. So yeah, people just amaze me. I'm like, how do you not pull a permit for this stuff?
they don't know.
Yeah, it's absolute asinine, and I talked to the city and they're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. The credit card company's like, well, it doesn't matter what you say, we side with our customer always.
Yeah.
So there's a 120-day review that they do, and then after that they'll determine who's in the right and who's in the wrong. And I told them, I said, we have signed contracts and everything. I said, she has it in her yard, or she had it before she had it moved. So she sent them pictures with nothing in the yard, so she had it moved somewhere. Like, didn't even return it or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't even know where it's at. So I called the police, had the police go over there, and they said there's nothing we can do about it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, it's theft.
On the credit card, yeah.
I'm like, it's theft. And he's like, well, technically it's not. I was like, how is it not technically theft? I'm like, she filed a chargeback, so she didn't pay for it. I said, and now it's gone. So, yeah, drives me crazy. But it's all good. We're getting things right now. We've got this build going. We've got 3 more lined up for this quarter. And then whatever happens with these mobile homes and whatnot as they turn them on.
And you was in a deficit another time for January to March.
Yeah, so we had to do a chargeback. We had a refund in January for another build. That was one of the 7 builds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with this check, it's based off of the sales.
Yep, it's based off the sales.
So even though there were chargebacks, that's still covered.
Yeah. Yeah, we still do it. So what we do with the sales, regardless of what the profit is, we always pull 4% out. I didn't pull anything for myself. I only paid out you guys. So that's the way it is. So,
All right.
Yep.
How long you think it's going to take before you get these minuses out of here?
Hopefully it'll be a year. So it's not going to take much. It's just we got to get consistent with builds is what it is. And then, so we had a lawyer drop new contracts. That way these people can't pull. I got 2 people canceled because they're getting divorced. And I'm like, that's not my problem.
Right.
You know, I had somebody else, one other one who ordered 2 40-footers and never bothered to check before they put a deposit down and signed off on the contract, never checked with the city of Tampa to see if they could actually put them in the city of Tampa.
Oh, wow. And those are larger, yeah.
Yep, so now the lawyers have changed all the contracts. That way we're not liable for any of that stuff anymore.
All right.
So, a little bit of a learning process.
Yeah, I hear that.
Unfortunately, people are scumbags. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm like that credit card one, that thing irritates me so much, it's not even funny. I'm like, how do you do something like that, and how do you sleep at night? I'm like, you basically just ripped me off for like $28,000.
That's crazy.
And you have no issue with it whatsoever. And, you know, it's funny because the cop was telling me, he's like, I went over there and she, you know, he's like, she spoke really broken English. She started, you know, speaking like some European language. I'm like, she speaks perfect English.
People do what they do.
He's like, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, she kept telling me, oh, she didn't understand this and that. I'm like, she was here and she spoke perfect English when she was here with me. I said, she'd been here a half dozen times. I said, never once did I think she never was able to speak English. He's like, well, there's something going on there. And I was like, and then she had some issue with her husband or something, works at a restaurant or is a chef at a restaurant, got beat up by the workers at the restaurant. And she was telling the cop all this. And she's like, oh, you know, the employee showed up here and threatened him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the heck does that have to do with anything? I'm like, that's got nothing to do with us. I said, our agreement. And the detective was like, yeah, unfortunately, he goes, it's a civil matter. He's like, we can't get involved in it. So, yeah, lesson learned. Spent some money on an attorney. Now we have ironclad contracts and just not. Unfortunately, as much as I want to be nice about stuff, I just can't be nice about stuff now. Right. You know, it stinks.
Business.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's business, and you know, like I feel bad for people who got divorced or are getting divorced. I'm like, number one, you didn't show me any divorce papers or that you filed divorce things. I said, and then number 2, it's not my fault. I'm like, so why am I getting penalized because of what you have going on in your life? So it's all good. We'll get through it. I ain't worried about it. So. Cool.
All right, well,
awesome.
In your business, man, get some sales.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that mobile home one would be a nice one. What's that?
I said, I would say my biggest concern, right, because I know you have
Yep.
a clause in our contract that says that, well, we can't request the investment back.
Right.
No problem, we don't get any bonuses on it. My biggest concern is getting in contact with you. I don't like that feeling.
That should get better. Hopefully my health issues are beyond. So I had a growth removed from my stomach about 3 weeks ago. So I get results for that next week. Doctor doesn't think it's cancer. So I've been actually battling issues since like October. I actually collapsed the day after Thanksgiving, was rushed to the emergency room. So I was actually out of work from, I think it was like the 2nd week of November until almost January. So the biggest thing, if you don't get me on text, get me on email. Because emails I check generally, now that I'm healthy and more functioning, I generally check my email at least once a day. So that's the best way to get a hold of me if you can't get a hold of me on the phone. Because like today I was down in Punta Gorda and I have no signal. So, you know, it's like literally when I got on the road, your text came through and that's when I replied right back to you. So yeah, just do it that way. If you don't get a hold of me on text, shoot me an email. Phone calls work sometimes. It just depends on how busy I am doing stuff because I don't carry a phone with me when I'm out working. I've broken way too many. I think it's my third phone this year, and even that screen is cracked on this thing now. So it's just one of those things. So yeah, it'll get better here. You know, just like I said, if you don't get me on text, get me on email.
All right. All right.
All right. You look like you have something else on your mind.
I do.
Okay.
I do. But he said okay. So.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, and if you guys, like I said, if you want, do you want me to send you those every quarter?
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta try to learn this stuff and everything too.
Yeah, shoot them over to you on every quarter. So what I'll do is when we do the checks every quarter, I'll just include that in the checks and shoot it over to you. And then what I'll do is I'll make a note that when I mail the stuff out that I send it to you, that I'll send you, I'll shoot you a quick text or an email letting you know I mailed it out. And then that way, if you guys don't get it within a couple of days, just let me know.
Cool.
So
it's gonna be what, April?
It'll be April, May, June, so it'll go out the end of July. Will be the next one.
All right.
So it's usually within the end, before the end of the month, or the following month, of the end of the quarter, because that allows us to close out our books for the quarter and get through all that stuff and get all the expenses put into the system, so that way we actually have good tracking. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Cool. All right.
Thank
Cool,
you,
guys.
man.
Hey, no problem. Good seeing you.
Feeling better.
Thanks. Yeah. Slowly but surely, they've got me on a 30-day regimen of antibiotics. So they've had a bacterial infection in my stomach and in my blood.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's something called type. It starts with an H and it ends with like a pleury. And they said it's a bacteria we all have in our stomachs. But they said what happens is with some people it gets overactive, and they think because of that growth in my stomach, mine went crazy.
Wow.
And then because of that,
Trying to attack, right?
well, yeah, and then because of that growth, there was damage to my stomach lining. So they think it got from my stomach. The bacteria went through my stomach and got on my bloodstream.
Yep.
And that's basically what it is.
H. pylori.
That's what it is. Yep, that's the one. So,
Wow.
So now I got these horse pills that are like half the size of my pinky. I got to take twice a day for 30 days.
All right.
So
Baby,
that's
make it
fun.
work, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.
You too. What?
Got some documentation.
What was this for? I forgot.
So we're not getting the money back?
See what this check does.
You can't cash the check and then ask for the money back. This check is for
So can it?
it's for $168.
Look at this. Going cross reference on what this stuff.
Yeah, he also just said 4% in case you didn't catch that. And it's not 4%. I don't. Okay, well.